talk about Halloween and then no, I was kidding. She has another more important thing to discuss. Take it away, Sandy.
Well, thank you very much. In normal times, I would be there with everyone, of course, from the Anoka capital, the capital of the world. I would be in my Halloween witch's costume, so I'm in my living room, dressed for you this morning. This is the time of the year when Anoka Rotary has our travel raffle, Vacation of a Lifetime. Of course, right now we're not really thinking of that, or it's in our dreams. But we decided this year it's our major fundraiser that we would go forward with it, even though most of our visiting clubs would be virtual. So it's been very interesting how it's going. At some clubs we do really well, and others I don't know what the presentation is different or the mindset is different. So our travel raffle drawing is next Wednesday. And we have a maximum of 2,000 tickets. I would guess, and we're in the final days, I would guess that your chance would be maybe 1 in 1,000 to win. So our grand prize is $3,000 travel voucher with no expiration. So you don't have to use it this year or next year. Or if you want cash, it's a $2,000 cash prize. And then we have a couple of other prizes like a fire pit. And so anyway, there's some other prizes. We've been really busy this fall, just like I'm sure Lakeville has, but with the opening of schools, we're part of the Anoka Hennepin School District. So we have 38,000 students. And out of those, we had several families that did not have internet access. And so Anoka Rotary provided over 100 hotspots for those families. We did backpacks fully loaded, from calculators to erasers for elementary backpacks, and then the middle high school. And we had a drive-through with Anoka Police Department and handed those out. And then the food shelf got on board. So if families came to pick up backpacks, then there were packed boxes. They were like apple boxes, but they were fresh fruits and veggies from gardens that they could pick up. If they had babies in their, or young children in their family, they had diapers. So anyway, we've been doing that. We've been working at the Haven for Heroes, which is the old Anoka State Hospital, which is being converted for veterans. So we have one cottage where there are men veterans that are there, another where it's partially filled. It'll be filled by the end of December here. And then the third cottage that we've been working on, and actually the group that's been doing the most work is that new E-Club, the Veterans E-Club. They got wind of what we were doing, and they have really taken on. They've written grants. Right now they're replacing the roof. They have to do asbestos abatement, and they really are in it wholehearted, which is fantastic. The fitness and wellness center that we put in is being used daily. I've talked to some of the vets, and it's kind of a lifeline for some of them. I must mention that the E-Veterans Club, the cottage that they're doing, will handle vets that have emotional and mental issues still with PTSD and those types of things. And so there'll be an area for counseling and those types of things. Anyway, I'm visiting you here today actually to see if you would like to purchase a chance at the Vacation of a Lifetime. We have raffle tickets. They're $10 each. And you can put your name and email in a chat box and I will get back to you. Otherwise, Kathy is putting something in the newsletter. And it works very easily. If you let me know how many tickets you would like and you give me your information, what I do is I fill the ticket out. I send you a photo of what your ticket, your entry looks like, and you send me your $10 per ticket. So it's a very easy process, and it's been working really well. So because we're Rotarians, I don't need your money first, I need your information, so we get it done. So thank you for your time, and next year, hopefully, I'll be back in person.
Thank you, Sandy.
Anywhere,
And you can
anywhere.
Go anywhere you want. Thank you, Sandy, and thanks for sharing all the good that Anoka Rotary Club that probably gives us a few ideas too. So I think rather than waiting till our next newsletter, we'll put this out a little quicker because as you said, there's only a week left before the raffle, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Sandy, and good luck with Halloween. Love the spirit.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on. We had a board meeting yesterday, and out of that, we have a couple of updates. And so Mike and Beth, if you'd like to come up, one of you, both of you. This is the dynamic duo for the foundation. Sorry, my speaker's going in and out.
Do I need a microphone? Oh.
You do.
Come on, Mike.
I'm the moral support.
Good morning, everyone, and good morning, Zoom people. Can everyone hear me?
No.
No, it's not. Is it on?
Is it green?
It's green. Okay, there. You're not getting out of this. Mike's on the team this year, and it's that time again to raise money for the foundation. Please don't make us come out and beg. We're tired. It's COVID. And a little hook is the last one in is on the committee next year. So be early, be prompt. We will be sending out forms shortly. I know there's some pushback on people not wanting necessarily to, because some of it's been politicized or whatever, give to polio plus. You know, on the forms, you can pick where you want it to go to. It does not have to go to the general fund. It can go to the environment, and there's different choices. So remember, when you became a Rotarian, part of your commitment was to give to the foundation, every Rotarian, every year. So we want to get this wrapped up by December 1st. So the sooner the better. The forms will be going out next week. Super easy. You call Kathy. She'll put it on a charge card. You can go online, charge it. You can write a check. It's very easy. Your turn.
Just do it.
Mike is known as the face of this.
He's the face.
You know, the reason they recruited me is because they thought if I know how to get blood donors, I can get money donors in. So I've gotten your blood, now I put your money.
There won't be anything left to us after a while. Thank you.
You know what we're saying, yeah, who's ever first to donate this year, I promise I'll never call you about blood.
No.
So there's the incentive right there. Our goal is 100, is asking members to donate 150 if you can. You know, we used to ask for 110. The club will try and match that. We can't guarantee what your match is, what the match will be, but they're gonna, because that all gets computed at the end. But we'll try to do that. That doesn't mean you need to donate 150. We just want, the important thing is that everyone is participating. Now, you certainly donate more than 150, and if you don't feel comfortable with 150, then donate less. The important thing is the participation.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I don't think this will work. Sorry, we're having some microphone issues. I just want to take this.
Mike is bad, and Mike is bad. We're done.
Hey, Mike, what do you write the check?
The Rotary Foundation.
Did everyone hear that? You write the check to the Rotary Foundation. Our goal this year is $41,000. And I had something else, but I have no idea what it was.
But every week until probably the beginning of December, they'll come up and give a very brief summary as to where we're at and encourage everyone to give as much as you possibly feel comfortable with. Thank you both. Nancy, are you,
I know.
Nancy, could you please give an update as to the survey we were going to have for the 360s with our giving this year?
Okay, I did hear from Lori and Sue Lewis from 360s Communities yesterday. And one of the questions that had come up is some people were asking about how they, basically the criteria that people need to meet in order to be considered for the Armful of Love. So this year they are not doing the wrap presents. They're asking for people to donate gift cards in increments of $25, and their recommended spending is $100 per child in a family and $50 per parent. So the vetting process is basically they have to be in the Burnsville, Apple Valley, Egan, and Lakeville area, and then they have to be living at the poverty level. And most of the times it is a single parent household. I know that for our club, a lot of the enjoyment is the shopping and the wrap party. But this year, what they're looking for is donations of the gift cards. So instead of adopting a specific family, we are looking for people to purchase gift cards and donate them. The thing is they want to collect them by the end of October because they are in the interview process right now, and they want to get the gift cards out to the families so they can do their shopping for the holidays. My question to the club is what kind of interest, and I believe we're going to do this in a survey, is what kind of interest we're looking at and how much we can raise.
Thank you, Nancy. Tony Steele would like to give a 30-second update as to where we're at with Strive, and it's very good news.
Thank you, Mr. President. Yes, it is very good news. There's been some delay and some obstacles to overcome, but our Strive program is it's happening, and I want to make sure to point the credit to where it belongs. The champions for Strive this year, and to make sure that we have a Strive program this year, have actually been the deans. I got to be honest with you, and I'm encouraged by that, and I certainly don't want to let them down. They love this program and have been advocating for any way possible to make it happen. So I want you to know that they're, as you know, a long-standing partner of the Strive program, but they have really stepped up and made me feel like I don't want to let them down. So we will be having Strive. It's a little abbreviated, it's a little delayed. Some of the changes include holding our Strive meetings here at Brackett's Crossing. And we've got some dates set, and we'll have all 32 kids, 16 at North, 16 at South, probably on the same day, Wednesday. That's their pivot day where they are all out of school, and it'll be over the lunch hour. So most of the programming that we've seen have been developed over the years that are a part of Strive. At least our favorite piece of that program will remain, and we're going to get Strive up and running. And the first meeting is on November 11th. But the two main points I want to say is Strive is happening. I'm grateful to be able to share that, and that really the credit belongs to the deans at Lakeville, North, and Lakeville South. That'd be Paul Donner and Melody for making sure the show goes on. So I think that's my update.
Yes, thank you. And thank you for your continued leadership in that regard. It'll be interesting to see the energy levels of those 32 when they used to meet at what, 7:30?
Yes, 7 in the morning.
It was 7 in the morning and now it's noon. So that'd be interesting to see how that goes. Jim Christian's giving us a quick update as to some carpentry projects we have in the works for the Pink Ribbon. Thank you.
Correct. We have two projects. Project one is Roger and Nancy Gerke. They live in Apple Valley. Just going to do a handrail. I've got the material list. We'll need some handy women and handy men to help out on that. That'll be a very brief one. Probably do even this weekend. Second one is a little bit bigger. It's Carrie Edelman out in Lakeville. Has a son, Keegan. Motorcycle accident for her son. Has a TBI. He moved in with his wife and his kids, and her mother is having cognitive issues, so she moved in. So it's basically putting trim around 8 doors and base down. So it's more carpentry kind of stuff. So I'll have tools and whatnot. So let me know if you want to help out. We'll leave the Keegan or the Edelman job. That's going to be a little bit more involved. So it's going to take probably 4 to 5 hours to get that part done. So.
And Jim will have continued updates in this regard. So feel free to email him or Kathy if you don't have Jim's email address. We don't have a 501 scheduled for this month, I believe, with COVID and the restaurants and their situation. I think that's been a struggle for Ken. So now we'll get on to the highlight of our program. And Cheryl will be introducing Cozy. Did you forget you were taking a picture? Yeah. So, thank you.
Forgot. Good morning.
Good morning.
It's a pleasure to introduce my dear friend, Cozy Whitman. She's spoken with us before, and there's no time like right now for difficult in regard to college. And she is a manager with the college inside track. She works with families of high schoolers, as you may remember, and she's dispelling the myths of how difficult financing can be. And she's a mom of 5 who all of her children have different college interests and requirements, so she's no stranger to this search. So it is my pleasure. Oh, she's also a fellow Iowan. She did go to Iowa State in 7th grade. But yeah, so Cozy Whitman.
Do I have to keep myself confined to the podium?
Yeah.
I don't know if I can even do that. Do you have my clicker?
You can give me the clicker, but you did bring to put it in.
Now I have it. Let's see if it works though.
It worked.
Oh, there we go. Well, very good. Thank you. I'm going to try my best, I guess, to stay confined here. It's more important that you see the presentation than you see me. As mentioned, I am a mom of 5. I have done this search many times. You might recall from my last presentation, one of my searches started Mom Musical Theater or pre-med. I have an update. That student actually graduated as a finance major and now works for Deloitte. And so one of the things when I talk to groups that I want people to know is that college has changed significantly. We don't think about college like an industry, but it is. Every other industry on the planet has evolved over the last 30 years. And things look different today than they did 30 years ago. For some reason, people freeze college in time, right? And they don't think about it like the industry that it is. And because this is a Rotary, the other thing I want to point out is that colleges are businesses and they are making business decisions. But sadly, when families go off and do college search, they don't think about it that way. College incorporates 3 key factors when people go off to search. And the experience side of college falls into the academic and social piece. And that's where most families stop. They stop thinking after that. Right? Because we think about the friends we met in college when we went to school and the experiences we got to have and the all-night study sessions and Saturday afternoon football games and all those things that make college a really cool experience. But here's the reality of college today. College is a business, and those businesses make business decisions when they accept a student. And they make a business decision when they decide to give away money. And so we need families to actually start to incorporate thinking about the financial aspects of college as well. I want to share with you my big list of schools here, and I share this list because when I sit down and chat college with families, we talk about academic fit, social fit for the student. I learn a little bit about their goals. And then I ask the family something like, tell me about the strategy for paying for college. And I get a lot of this, right? Well, I don't know, you tell her the strategy. No, you tell her the strategy, right? Everybody wants somebody else to have the strategy. And the reality is that most families don't have a strategy for paying for school. And I always ask families if that's how they bought their house, right? Did you tell the real estate agent, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, side of town, style of house, and then don't tell us the price. Just show us houses we're gonna love. And then you can let us know the pricing when we show up to sign, right? I would suggest that people not, by their college experience, that way, which is what most people are doing. And the reason they do it that way is because they don't know it can look different from that. Because the colleges don't make it transparent to them. And so when you look at this big list of schools, one of the things I want to point out when I get to the student and I'm like, tell me about some schools you're interested in. You know what they say to me? Almost always one of those top 4 schools pops up in that conversation. Almost always. And every kid on the planet, for whatever reason, wants to go to Colorado to college. So I want you to take a look at the pricing there, right? These are 1-year costs. Then I want you to take a look at the bottom 3. So I was this mom. Go anywhere you want, as long as it's in the state of Minnesota and a state school, right? Because I'm like, we are staying low. We are not going to be that family. But what I didn't realize was I was automatically cutting us off from schools that could actually help me reduce that cost. And when you take a look at public institutions, those bottom 3 are the flagship schools in their states. That price that is sitting there is resident.
I want to appreciate everyone who's done that.
The price
Every little bit helps, so you can just go online and donate, and we'll take care of that from there. Thank you.
And then I'm going to welcome Sandy this morning to Anoka Rotary. I noticed that she is in her festive year today.
I'm actually on the Lakeville Rotary site. I did a presentation, and so I'm just kind of watching their meeting and doing this one also. Sell, 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 right?
Yes. You got it.
Shut somebody down.
Move on to happy dollars and $100.
So here's the deal.
Self-promotions.
Prices. Keep this in mind. College is now the 2nd largest investment that your family will make next to your home. And families are not thinking about it that way, right? They're thinking about all those things that fall under emoji with heart-shaped eyeballs, right? The experience of college. I think you need to click on me somehow.
Oh, sorry, am I in your?
No, just fast forward me to the next. All right, so let's take a quiz. Online, I'm sorry, you'll just have to follow along, but we'll quiz the people in the room. Go ahead and click through the quiz. Oh, here we go. Is that you or me? I don't know.
That's me.
What percent of students transfer at least one time? Is it 6%, 14%, 25%, 38%, 50%, or maybe you're thinking, doesn't everybody transfer? I thought everybody transferred. All right, let's see hands at 6 in the room. Nobody? 14? Okay, 1 lone soul. 25? Quarter of the students who go off, okay. 38%? Basically the other half of the room. Anybody at 50? 1, 2 lone souls. All right, let's take a peek. National transfer rate is 38%. Well done, Lakeville Rotary. All right, here's the deal. This is why it matters. If a student transfers just one time, it adds $14,000 to the cost of that degree. If a student transfers twice, on average, it adds $24,000 to the cost of that degree. And by the way, this is state school to state school. If you add a private school into the mix, and it doesn't matter if the student is leaving a private school or headed toward a private school, it makes it more expensive to transfer. And so hitting the right fit the first time is a really important part of college search. That national transfer rate sits at 38%. When we work with families, that transfer rate is under 4%. And that is because we spend time and energy helping students understand what does right fit actually mean for me as a student, and which schools actually fit that. You know how most kids choose college? That's right. They ask their friends, where are you guys going? Okay, I'll go there, right? People don't even, I talked to a family who was looking for schools. Their kid wanted to be an engineer. They were looking at this teeny, weeny college down in Florida, had 6 degrees total available to the student. 1 engineering, 1. What if their kid gets into engineering and decides that's not his bag? He's got 5 other majors to choose from, right? That's why it's important. So I want to focus on Merit Aid today, because Merit Aid is the most misunderstood aspect around financial aid. I talked to a parent this week who said to me, well, we're not going to get any financial aid. Okay, well, what do you mean by that? What she actually meant was that their house wasn't going to get any need-based aid. Okay, fine. There's a whole other bucket of money sitting out there for you, if you understand how it works. And this is where we get back to the idea that colleges are businesses, and they're making business decisions. So we like to think about college like benevolent creatures, educating our kids for the good of society. Parents think about the money that colleges give like, they're giving money to my kid because they're so awesome. It's true, their kid is awesome, but that's not why they're getting money. They're getting money because that awesome kid is helping the college with things the colleges care about. So I want to open the curtain, if you will. I always think about college a little like the Wizard of Oz, right? A big benevolent face out here. But behind the curtain, there are people pulling all kinds of levers. So I want to help you understand how the levers work. So I want families to know, how do scholarships actually work? Because people are focused in the wrong areas. Scholarships work when people focus on the colleges. So getting their college search launched during sophomore and junior year and spending some actual time researching schools and understanding which schools are likely to bring merit, grant, and scholarship dollars to the table. Sadly, most families waste their time in the private scholarship space. So what are private scholarships? They're the I have red hair and one blue eye scholarship, or my personal fave, Italians over 6 foot tall scholarship. So I want to share with you where money. I got one because that's how this kid was going to pay for school. Okay, so I want to share where scholarships actually show up. Where do they come from? And we're going to start with highest value to lowest value. The top place for families to find scholarship dollars is actually from the colleges, right? So schools give away hundreds of thousands of dollars every year. And when a college gives away money, they give it for 4 years. So this is high value investment, return on your investment of research time. Guess what? Number 2 on the list are the colleges again. So after the student has applied, been accepted, they get opportunities for additional scholarship dollars. You know why most kids miss those? They don't read their email. And I'm not kidding. They don't read their email. Again, colleges giving lots of cash here. And when colleges give away that money, it lasts for 4 years. Now you'll notice though that my pyramid is getting smaller as we go. And that is because by and large, the award amounts get smaller as we go down this tiering. So local opportunities like, I don't know, say your local Rotary Club is another good opportunity for students to get scholarship dollars. Why is this third on the list? Well, because by and large, right, if you compare it to $35,000 worth of scholarships at the college, it's just a lower value. But the reason it's tier 3, and usually it's for a year, right, as opposed to colleges where it was going to last for 4. The reason it's third on the list, though, is because the students are better connected to the resource of the scholarship, right? So people apply to the Rotary Scholarship because they go to school at the local high school, for instance, right? They've got a connection some way to that resource. It might also be an employer, it might be the local bank. There are lots of community groups that give scholarships. It's an okay opportunity for students. Bottom of the barrel, though, sadly, where most people spend their time is in the private scholarship space. Out on the internet, looking at these aggregators, endlessly searching. I went through an entire presentation like this, and someone came up to me after and said, but we're still going to spend a little bit of time there, right? And I said, no, no, don't. How many families do you know have an overabundance of time? They've got so much time, they can't think of what else to do. No, they don't. So if you're going to spend time researching, spend time researching the colleges. Do not spend time on those private scholarships. Okay, no one wins those. It is myth that there are millions of dollars of unclaimed scholarship money if you would only just apply. That is myth. The other thing that you should know, and this is the dark underbelly of college, many schools around the country don't allow for something called stacking of scholarships. So guess what happens when they get their Rotary scholarship, right, the local bank scholarship? The college says, hey, you bringing any scholarships with you? They're like, yep, I found $2,000, good for you, that's awesome, high five. By the way, we're just gonna amend our merit package by $2,000 for you. And guess what, when you lost that $2,000 from the college, you didn't lose $2,000. You lost $2,000 times 4. So for going out and working hard and finding your own $2,000, you lost $8,000. So researching colleges is the best place for students to spend their energies. So what should they be looking for in colleges? Well, one, they should look for schools who offer merit aid, because not all of them do. My big list of schools, those top 3 with the big price tags, no scholarship dollars there. 0 for smarts, none. Doesn't matter how many pandemic-based businesses the student opened during this past summer, right? There are no scholarship dollars. And here, again, is where we get back to the business of college. If I'm a school, and my acceptance rate at college is 6%, where is the business case to be made for me to give away money? I have all the students I could ever want. Kids are bashing down my door to get in. I don't have to give away scholarship dollars. People come to me. So if I'm Stanford, Northwestern, University of Chicago, Columbia, all the big brand schools, there is no reason for me to give away money, and therefore I don't. So for the schools that do give away money, what should people be looking for? They should look for schools where their students' numbers are interesting. Again, what do colleges measure? That's what the families need to be asking themselves. What do they measure? Well, they measure incoming average GPA and ACT and SAT score. Yes, they even do that during the test optional landscape we live in today. So most schools stepped up to the plate to say, hey, we're going to be test optional this year because guess what? Seniors couldn't get tests. And the test still is kind of wiggly. They can't find it. They can't get it. It's full, right? Even in our test optional landscape, behind the curtain again, right? Not out here in front, but behind the curtain, they are still tying that number to merit aid. So kids should still be doing ACT prep, SAT prep. They should still go take the test a couple of times. They should look for schools where their talent is interesting. If you have the tuba player, you are almost assured some kind of money at a school. The flute player, not as much, right? No one wants to carry that bad boy around, that big honking tuba. We had a student a couple years ago, hip hop dancer. She went off to school with an additional $9,000 in her pocket because she danced hip hop and they needed some on their team. She wasn't planning to dance. She was gonna walk away. So making sure the student is showcased well in their application is important. And lastly, kids are interesting because they aren't from the immediate area the school is in. Here's a fun fact to pack in your back pocket and wow your neighbors with. 73% of Minnesota graduates stay in the state or touch a border. 73%. So take the other 27% and scatter them across 3,000 universities in the United States. And guess what? You are pretty darn interesting if you are willing to step over the state of Wisconsin and look somewhere else for college. So a little behind the scenes on how schools give away money. This is one school, by the way, this is a brand you would recognize, so it's a school with a name that you would know. This is how they give away money. At this school, something called demonstrated interest is worth $3,000. It is also in a test optional landscape, elevated to categories of things school care about, even for acceptance. So what is demonstrated interest? It is a school's perception that the student is pretty darn interested in them. So you can call it the sweetening money if you want, right? So if I'm an admissions person, I have this giant stack of applications from people I've never met, heard from, they're not in our system anywhere. And I have this much smaller stack where the people have reached out to me, they've been on my student panel, maybe they participated in our virtual tour, they follow us on Instagram, right? They're in our system, we've touched them in some way, shape, or form. I'm gonna sweeten the pot a little bit, give them a little extra cash, try and get them as one of my butts in chairs in the fall, because as an admissions person, I would be responsible for X number of students. Look at this. At this school, if you are that rare Minnesotan, up to $15,000 of additional cash. And remember, that's times 4. For every A, they add them all up, multiply by 62. For all the rigorous classes, AP, IB, PSEO, college in the schools, they add them up, multiply times 400. An excellent letter of recommendation is worth $1,800 at this school. For every point above this school's average ACT that a student score is, they get $425 per point. This school is test optional. Just for filling out your FAFSA, $1,800. Now, I meet a lot of people who say to me, why am I filling out this FAFSA? We're not getting any need-based aid. Here's why. This is why you're doing it, right? This school uses another form called the CSS profile. So if you don't fill out your forms, because I'm not getting any need-based aid, what do I care? At this school, you're actually giving up $4,300 times 4. I don't know about your guys' time, but my time totally worth 17 grand. I will be filling out the FAFSA. And then at this school, a well-written essay up to $8,500. And here's the deal. This is why we use essay coaches with our kids. A really good personal narrative is hard for kids to write. Every kid I meet wants to write about the injury they had that kept them out of the state tournament. Every kid I meet wants to write about their mission trip to Nicaragua and what it meant to them. It is really hard for them to come up with a narrow story, or most commonly, I don't do anything interesting. What on earth would I write about it, right? That's where most kids go. So here's the other thing, in the test optional landscape, the essay elevates to the top of the list of things the schools are using for acceptance as well. People should be attacking their search like the business decision it is. They do not. They lead with their heartstrings, right? So I want people to interview schools. Every single high schooler in our need sits in this position. Oh, I hope they let me in. Oh, I hope they let me in, right? Even the kids who are 3.9 GPAs, right? They're still in that same position. This is a purchase. How many of you walk onto a car lot and go, oh, I hope they let me buy a car. Oh, I hope they let me buy a car. No, no, no. Turn this around, right? Talk to the schools. Get them to tell you, how are you, college, going to help me, student, be successful on your campus? Right? Interview the schools and the programs if the student knows what they want to do. Understand that you can appeal at some schools. We did this with one of my kids. Drake University was very kind, brought us an additional $8,000 once we threatened them with another school's numbers, right? And so it can be done. You have to have the right schools on the list, and no public universities do this. The one caveat to that would be in our current environment where parents have maybe been furloughed or laid off. When they filled out their FAFSA, they were using likely 2019 tax year. 2020 is clearly a very different year for a lot of people. And so providing the background to be able to appeal and say to the school, I know you're looking at that tax year, but that's not what we look like anymore. Here is what we actually look like, can garner some extra cash for the student in the need category. And then lastly, people don't know this, colleges are not a monolith. They do not all teach the same. They have different teaching philosophies and they fit different students. So it's important for people to really understand that you can actually assess a school for the style of learning. Scout, locally, for instance, is actually a really good experiential learning college. So if a student is not the hey, I do a really good job of sitting in a chair and letting words wash over the top of me student, Scout is actually a great opportunity for them. And I want families to really think about, and we talk about this in the family consultations that I do, they should have a strategy to pay for school. It is a shocking number of people who do not. I want them to have a 4-year game plan, which will help them build a budget. So figure out where is money actually coming from for every single year for school. This conversation should be being had when the student is a sophomore, right? Parents getting on the same page, shocker, I know. If you're married, I'm sure you're always on the same page with your spouse, but on occasion, people disagree. And around how to pay for college, people really disagree. So it is important for parents to get on the same page, but I also want them to talk to their student. The worst time possible for a family to talk to their student about what they can afford is in spring of senior year, when you've got financials sitting in front and the dream school came in with numbers that you are horrified by. And then define the expectations, right? What are you, as a parent, going to bring to the table to help the student pay for school, if anything? And what is the student? What is the expectation on them? What do you want them to do? Do you want them to pay for school? How much? Right? So getting into the weeds around who's going to own what, who's going to have what skin in the game is super important. Nobody talks about this. I want also people to think about leveraging the best financial options for paying for school. Today, the federal student loan sits at an interest rate at 2.75%. A couple bankers in the room. Is that a decent borrowing rate, folks who sit in that space? Yes, of course it is, right? That's a historic low. The loan has never sat at 2.75% before. So in some cases, it makes sense for students to take out the federal student loan, which caps kids off. They can't bury themselves in the federal loan. It's not possible. It caps them off every single year. 4 years, it caps you off at $27,000. You cannot take out more than that over 4 years. And it's possible that mom and dad are using money that's earning better than 2.75 to pay for school. So leveraging that loan is just a good idea in this current environment. So what do? We do help families navigate college search. That is me on a daily basis in my office, if I could just get rid of the paper. The thing about college is it needs to be the right fit for the student, right? Avoiding those transfer fees. We do help families ensure they get the absolute best pricing available to them from the colleges that are on their students list. But here's my favorite thing that we do. 4 of my 5 kids are girls. They have all mastered the eyeball roll. They love me to death, but I am never the smartest person in the room. I had an argument with my finance major this summer around college and how colleges give away money. I said to her, you understand that people pay me to talk to them about that, right? So here's the coolest thing I want to offer to do. Anybody you know and care about who is in the process of college search, I am happy to do a consultation for. It is a passion for me that people learn more about this, because I just shake my head. It makes me so sad when I meet with families. I met with a family last night. They have a senior. They have 0 schools on their list. Application deadlines for early action are November 1 for a lot of schools. They have nothing. And you know why? Because they don't know how to do it. They don't know what to do. They don't know how to figure out where to send their kid. The free consultation walks them through their questions. I walk them through their process and learn more about the student's goals, help suggest strategies for them. I can give them a rough expected family contribution so they understand, will schools see you? Will some colleges see you as need-based and others not? Or should you just focus on merit aid? And then lastly, suggest some strategies around that, right? How do you think about this? And what are some questions you should be asking the admissions group when you get the chance to talk to them? So the best way to take advantage of this For the people live here, I did bring a form. Because of COVID, I didn't pass it out. So if you want to get a copy of this presentation to share it with people that you know, you're welcome to get a copy of it. Just fill out a form, bring your own pen, fill out the form, and I will send it to you. If you want to take advantage of that consultation, check the box. We have a family newsletter, comes out once a month. College Inside Track is small. We don't spam people. I don't know, I barely have time to answer my phone calls. I don't answer email, correct, Cheryl? So we are not spamming you, to be sure. And then just share us with people you know. I can't tell you about the anxiety level that exists today right now around college. With colleges not allowing people on their campuses, people are really lost. They just don't know what to do now. Online, feel free to reach out to me directly at collegeinsidetrack.com. Right in the middle of that screen is a free advice button. If you click on it, you'll find me. Thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our Rotary Club, the scholarship.
Yep.
Could you give us advice on how we should be structuring those? I mean, based on what you just said, if we're offering money to one of the top students at Lakeville North,
yep,
they're going to get scholarship money anyway.
Yep.
Our $2,000 is getting deducted. Wouldn't it be better for us to give that money to somebody else?
Yeah, here's what I would say.
And so my question really is, as a club, could you be helping us decide how to set up a good scholarship fund?
Yeah. So I certainly can help you think about it. The challenge is, Mike, that the answer to everything college is it kind of depends, right? So some of those students are headed out to school that allow for staff, but others do not. And so they might actually, I don't know how you have it structured in terms of what they can spend it on, but if they could spend it on things like, for instance, buying their laptop, right? Getting themselves set up for going off to college. Then it doesn't penalize them as heavily because the money is gone by then, right? By the time they come around to asking that question. So I'm happy to sit down though and chat about kind of how you guys structure that and who you give it to, for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. If you have other questions, just reach out directly. I'm happy to answer.
And thank you again for speaking. I remember when you were here a couple of years ago, because I used some of your tips with my own daughters. My youngest one was just going in, and so I filed away some of that. And for speaking today, this is a four-way test coin from the Rotary. Perhaps you received one a couple of years ago. And we will be giving an honorarium in your name to Treehouse, which is an outreach group.
Yeah, I know that.
Thank you. Before we go on to Peg with the Master of Arts, and that's going to be an abbreviated one, just a quick announcement. October 24th, we're going to do roadside cleanup. Richard is leading it again this year. And so that is weather permitting, of course. And he's going to bring some extra signs along that we can help. Not just kidding. Okay, so hey.
Did you want to do the photo thing?
Oh.
Like Steve said, this is going to be an abbreviated, so everybody, if you don't have your pin on, give it a fun. That's also online. If you don't have a pin on, no pants. Okay, I'm going to do this very, very abbreviated. This part of the room, everybody but goes back there. I'm going to give you a question. This is about the Constitution. How many, in the U.S. Constitution, how many words are there? Within 100.
The initial Constitution or as
Yeah, the initial. It is the oldest and shortest written constitution of any major government. You guys got a guess? Anybody?
17.
17? Give me a guess, guys. We're in a hurry.
You got a lot of great.
1,500? No, 4,400.
Wow.
Who's answering that?
I'm going fast. The other,
Okay, these two tables. Let's just do this. Of the 42 delegates who attended most of the meetings, 39 actually signed the Constitution. Who did not? I know, good luck. Anybody know? The two that did not were Edmund Randolph and George Mason. They refused to sign because it said they had lacked the Bill of Rights. Okay, online. Online, let's see.
quick. The page, I can't turn the page.
I'm afraid I have to admit that Edmund is a relation of mine.
Okay, Patrick Henry was elected as a delegate to the Constitutional Convention, but declined. Why? Anybody? No. Anybody? Okay, you'll luck. It's because he smelt a rat.
That's what it says.
Okay.
Happy dollars, quick. Anyone happy?
Come on, somebody's happy. All right, Flynn.
Clint, you got a quick happy dollar?
Oh, sure. The sooner the leaves are out of the trees, the sooner I don't have to get up on the roof and empty the gutters.
We'll be expecting your money, Venmo.
Anybody else? Boy, nobody's happy today.
Right, let's pull the number. Who has the best? We'll have our guests pull the number and change the last three digits for $10.
Last three?
Yes.
941.
The money man extraordinary. Just real quick, as we're before we do our four-way test, we thought the madness should continue for one more week. Whoops.
Sorry.
Got to do these in order. So, driving through Lakeville the other day, and you'll notice on the top image, who's with all the, what we would say, conservative Republicans? Mr. Smiley Face. On the bottom image, who's with all the Democrats? Mr. Smiley Face. Some may say he's got an identity crisis. I say, well played, sir, well played.
Busted.
Sorry. Couldn't show. Hang on.
Did we lose it?
We must have lost it. Hang on.
Okay, timing is everything.
Sorry.
I think if this was high school, we'd be giving him a new nickname. The Wolf, right? Sheep's clothing, okay. Timing was a little off on that. Thank you. You're good at accepting this. Any publicity is good publicity, yes. And thank you, and it's great to see your signs. And Judy signs, anyone else? Signs here? Don't see yours anymore. So, please rise for the four-way test. In the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth?
That's the truth.